Alright, here we are at page 123 of our workbook. This is question 3 of our level 2 problems on the topic of average. Let's take a look at this one. Here says the table shows Peter's marks for 5 mathematics tests. For 5 tests. He scored the same for test 4 and test 5. So these two are supposed to be the same. Okay, and then he's got an average of 83 marks for the 5 tests. How much did he score? How many marks did he score for test number 4? So this is the one that you need to find. Okay, using the first method that we understood from the relationship of total, average, and number of data, this relationship that we have been talking about since the start of the chapter on average. Here's talking about the number of data. There are 5 tests here. The average is given. The average is stated as 83 marks. The total is not given. And perhaps that's something that we need to find to help us to get to the answer. So the average is given, that's 83 marks. Okay, using the first method, that is, I've get to the step-by-step approach. I have 5 tests here. That would mean I can get to finding the total marks for 5 tests. That is the average 83 marks times the number of data 5 tests, and that should give me 415 marks for as the sum of all the marks here. So of these 5 tests times the average of 83, add together, it should be giving me 415 marks. Now, okay, so to find 4 and 5, I will first add up tests 1 and 2 and 3. So test 1 and 2 and 3, that will be 76 plus 79 plus 80. And that will give me a number. Then after that, I find tests 4 and 5. That will be using the 415 minus test 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, add up together. Then I will find test 4 as this number above, divide by 2, because that's the value shared between test 4 and 5, and then that should give me the answer. So you see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, total of 4 steps. I find the total marks first using the average number of data. After that, I add up test 1, 2, and 3 that is given. Use the total minus all them. That will give me test 4 and 5. Then after that, I divide by 2. That should give me the answer of test 4, and that's the number of marks. Okay, go through the step by step. It seems a bit tedious, but if you diligently do it, you should not go too far from the correct answer. Okay, you should be getting it unless it's calculation error. Now, okay, I'm saving some time here to move on to the other method that we have been discussing previously about sharing out difference. Now, if you have understood by now, this works pretty fast and simple for this. Now, considering if I were to draw the model again to help us to understand this, let me use green. That's how I've been doing it for the previous questions, the 2 methods. So I have an average mark here. This average marks here is 83. So this is the 83 point for average. And then I have maths test 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. And looking at this, we understand how far they are away from the average mark. And you realize, hey, they are all needing some extra marks to help. Next, test 1 is just 76. It needs an extra 7 marks to get to the average. Okay, and then test 2 also needy. To get to 83, it needs 4 marks. And test 3 is also needy. It needs 3 marks. So in other words, if I were to think about this, they are all needy. They all need marks. If I put them all together, all of them needs a total of 14 marks. I add them up, okay? They all together, in all, they need 14. And where does this 14 come from to even them up? It comes from next test 4 and 5. Now, looking at 14 being second running row, in look at 14 being the need, that means the extra comes from test 4 and 5. So in other words, I will be sharing out this 14, and then imagine if test 4 is 83 and test 5 is 83, they have all extra. So in other words, I should be looking at them having extra 7 actually. That makes up the 14 that they need. So if I were to draw the model here, that will actually mean test 1 okay is needy. Test 2 also needy. Test 3 also needy. But they all need slightly different. They need 7, need 4, and they need 3. And then where do these extras come from? It actually comes from 4 and 5. And they actually have the extra to help them to fill it in. Which this extra are equal amounts because test 4 and 5 is supposed to be the same. So looking at the average mark, and then we talk about it, okay? Actually, this extra fills in the gaps that is needed by test 1, 2, and 3. So in other words, actually, the answer is pretty simple to get 2. So test 4 is just 83 marks plus the extra of 7. That gives me 90. Okay, you tell me if this is correct by checking out if I work through step by step, okay, using this method 1 here, I should be getting the same answer, okay, which true enough, it should be so. So I have 76 plus 79, I get 155. So 155 plus 80, that will be 235. So 450 minus 235, that should give me 180. And then 180 divided by 2 will be 90. Right, they're the same. Okay, so left side, step by step, foolproof, quite foolproof. Right side, a little bit challenging, needs a bit of understanding, but ta-da, here are the two methods. Pick the one you are confident with.